Top Scary Sleep Paralysis Stories. DoodlebugRocket's Sleep Paralysis Demon. Alright, so I'm your average teenage kid. I like to play video games, I like to ride my bike. Normal stuff. I sort of believe in paranormal things, but not completely. I really wouldn't consider myself a true believer in that stuff. This whole story took place over the course of about a week or so. And it was only about 2 months ago. Another thing you need to know is how my bedroom is laid out. When you first open the door, directly across the wall is a large window. If you turn right, when you're at the door, there's my bed. Next to the large window, it's my brother's bed. Between our beds is a smaller window. The property we live on is about 2 acres large, and it's rural. Alright, not to bore you to death with stupid things, on to the story. I woke up at some odd hour of night, and I expected to see my brother playing our Xbox. But surprisingly, when I looked over at his bed, he was fast asleep. Still not completely awake, I looked over at the large window. What I saw absolutely horrified me. My heart began to race. There were 3 tall figures outside the window. We had no blinds or curtains, so I saw right outside. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I physically could not scream. However, I fell asleep. I don't know how. I brushed it off as just my imagination, and didn't think much of it. A few nights later, I woke up again at some outrageous time. I tried to move myself, but I couldn't move a muscle. Only my eyes. After probably a minute or so, my eyes adjusted to the darkness. I scanned the room for no particular reason. In the corner of our room, opposite to me, I saw this thing. I say thing because I don't think it was human. It was a dark figure with a weird, fuzzy, hazy gray outline. The only way I can describe it is a static screen on a TV. It also had the most red eyes I have ever seen. I had never seen such bright shade of red. I looked at it up and down. When I looked at where its hand should have been, I saw a long, dark object. I assumed it was a knife. It was huge. It was the biggest knife I have ever seen. Then the thing started to hover toward me. It hovered, for God's sake. My eyes started to water at this point. I was so scared. It was the most terrifying experience of my life. When it got to my bedside, it began to raise its hand up. I knew what that thing was going to do. It was going to stab me. I closed my eyes so hard. I was full on sobbing by now, but I couldn't make a noise. I guess I fell asleep because I woke up again and it was gone. And it was morning. I collected myself and calmed down a bit. I identified what had just happened to me was sleep paralysis. It had happened to me once before, a long time ago. I got up and I walked over to my stepdad and mom's room and told them what had happened. They told me it was just a dream and told me not to worry about it. That whole day I was on edge, and I didn't sleep much that night. About 2 days later, I calmed down quite a bit and I was sleeping better again. But something off happened. I remember vividly feeling my legs being lifted up and slammed onto my bed. I was really confused and quite scared. I regained consciousness and asked my brother about it, who was on his phone. He told me that I was crazy and that nothing happened. I didn't believe him, but I didn't voice my concern. So I just put my head back down onto the pillow and tried to go back to sleep. I don't remember this next part at all, but my brother told me the next day. Apparently, I woke up screaming, and I sat up, panting for air. My brother was scared and very worried about me, so he asked me what was wrong. I said he ran down the hall and jumped on me. And then I laid back down and went back to sleep. At least, that's from what my brother told me. That was the end of all of it. And a few weeks later, me and my stepdad installed curtains in our room. I have no clue what any of this means, but it was all absolutely mortifying. My sister's Doppelganger. This story takes place about 10 years ago. I was staying over at my sister's house one night. We were hanging out and watching movies, like we normally do. The last movie I remember us putting in was a romantic comedy, and then we fell asleep on the couches in her living room. I'm not sure what time it was, but I awoke suddenly to what appeared to be my sister, squatting right next to the couch, staring at me. She was right in my face, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak for what seemed like forever. I was just stuck there, unable to do anything until it all faded away. Once I could move, I sat up quickly and looked around the room. My sister was sound asleep across the living room on the couch. I began to panic, yelling that there was someone in the house. It looked just like my sister, but it wasn't her. She's asleep on the couch. My sister woke up and we searched the whole house, but no one was there. I couldn't go back to sleep after that. I knew what I had experienced was sleep paralysis, but it felt so real. I still have troubles when I go back to that house, falling asleep, worried that I'll see my sister's doppelganger again. I'd like to give a special thanks to DoodlebugRocket and the original Wonder Woman for these stories. If you want to check out the original Wonder Woman, she streams on Twitch at the original Wonder Woman. And a special thanks to my patron on Patreon, Kelly Warrens. Kelly gets the added benefit of seeing my videos early and a special place in Discord chat. If you guys would like to support this channel, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.